Hello and welcome along to another episode of this Snooker 19 career, the other O'Sullivan with me, Daniel. It's episode 12 and today we're back as promised for our first ever semi-final in the Scottish Open. We're playing world number 2 Mark Selby after putting out 3 top 10 world ranking opponents already. If you've missed any of those episodes, do go back and check them out. I'll put a link in the eye above to the beginning of the series so you can catch up with all of the stories so far and then pop back over when you're done to see us in our first ever semi-final. Depending on the length of this episode, we may have some content from our next game as well, and we'll go and have a look why at the moment. We've mentioned that we'll be moving up the rankings now regardless of the result here, as we've got a guaranteed 20,000 in prize money, but you can see in the first of 3 frame match we're 2-0 down against Selby, and it's going to be very difficult for us to get back into it now. So we're into the 3rd frame, we've got the break, so we're going to use our tried and trusted one. It's not worked too well for us in this game, but I'm sure the run was going to end somewhere. The fact that we're making semi-finals in our first season of competition really shows how well we've been doing, and 2 quarter-finals in a row is brilliant as well. It is going to be difficult to replicate this later in the season, as our form has started to dry up a little bit, but we're still making decent breaks as we did in the last episode against Ronnie O'Sullivan, so I'm sure we'll still be able to put the odd one together. Mark Selby's hit an awful shot there though, and we could be in and amongst the reds here. There's 5 or 6 loose from the pack and we should be able to build a break from here. So we've lined up this first red to the bottom corner pocket. We want to try and hold for the black if we can, so we're just going to roll it in with under 20% power, and fingers crossed we can get a tiny angle on the black to take us onto the other red below the black spot. Fingers crossed that looks like it's pretty good, and hopefully we'll be able to build a break from here. We should be able to roll the black in here as well. It looks like a relatively straightforward pot, although we may have to apply a bit of screw back just to try and stick on this red. Hopefully it won't then be overhit, but we have got another option at the bottom of the pack just in case we do overhit it. We haven't, in fact we've probably underhit it if anything, but we were aiming for 39% and we only ended up getting 32% on it, so we can't have any real complaints from that one, and now we've just got to try and get up for the blue. So we're going to go for 35% power. Again we very slightly underhit it, but on this occasion it's worked out perfectly as we're up for the blue very nicely. I know we're probably going to lose this semi-final, as winning 3 frames in a row against the world number 2 is going to be a very difficult task, but if we could get our first century break on camera, that would be absolutely fantastic. We've seen the end of a few other ones which we've put the links to on Twitter, but we haven't been able to see a full century on camera. It'd be something really special for this semi-final. So we've put the blue in and we're on to the red nicely, and we've got 1 or 2 more remaining before we have to try and split the pack. If we get a good angle beforehand, as is my usual philosophy, we will try and do it before, but I don't think we want to take too many risks at the moment, especially while we're building a break nicely. 42% power to just try and come round the black, and we've managed to get a pretty good angle on it, and this could be our opportunity. In fairness, we've got a real good chance to go into the reds here, so let's just try and cut the black in. Let's go for as much power as we can and try and come into that pack. Hopefully we'll be able to get plenty of contact on it. 78% power, we're going into the right hand side of it. We split them beautifully, but will we be on a red? We're going to need a little bit of luck here, and I'm not sure we've got it, you know. There's 3 or 4 options to the middle, but none of them seem to be clear for us to take, so I think it is going to be the end of our break, despite the fact we've hit a fantastic shot. That's really disappointing. The only other thing we can try and do is perhaps cut one of these reds to the top corner pocket, and it looks like it might be a half chance, but if we miss the pot the break's almost certainly going to be over. So a little bit disappointing in that regards. A really good shot and we've got no reward from it at all, but let's just try and put this into the top corner. We're in a position where we can take risks now. The reds managed to rattle in off both jaws of the pockets. We just about got onto a colour. I think the blue will go to the bottom corner if we need it. It looked like a brilliant pot, but again we just haven't got that bit of luck as we've not been left with an easy colour. We're going to go for the blue though. It looks like it does go to that bottom corner pocket, and if we cannon into the pink then so be it, as long as we leave ourselves on another red. 20% power, we've underhit it slightly. I hope we've still got a red on. It looks like the blues dropped nicely and we've got a red to the corner pocket. That's a fantastic pot, and I'm sure you can tell I'm starting to get a bit more excited now. It looks like the worst of this break is over at the beginning, so now we can just get ourselves on for the black off this red and start to build a really big break. If we can win a frame in one visit, it's always so much more rewarding. We did it in the decider against Ronnie O'Sullivan. We're going to pot the black here and come back off the cushion. We've overhit it slightly, so we might be in a pickle here. Hopefully the reds to the middle on the other side will save us, although we've covered the angle for that as well. This could be the end of break again. We talk about winning it in one visit, it, and then we do something as stupid as that. I don't think the red goes to this side. We haven't got any reds to the middle, and we have really made a pickle of this one. We've got a tricky red to the corner to try again. So we're just going to try and get this one in. I don't know if we're going to have any success with it, but just over 18% power, and it doesn't look like it's got enough curve on it. So it is going to bounce off the side cushion and leave Mark Selby in amongst the reds. That could be the end of our tournament. It has been a brilliant run, but I'm so disappointed it ended that way after we'd set ourselves up for a frame winning break. Unfortunately, Selby's potted the red. He has left a bit of a difficult position on the colour, but I think he can pot the yellow simply enough, so we'll just wait and see if he does that. Selby goes for the yellow, it's into the pocket easily, and now he's got a plethora of reds to choose from, and I'm sure he'll win the frame in this visit. We'll be back if we get another chance at the table, but I wouldn't bank on it at this stage. Well, after a break of 23, Mark Selby's made a mistake on a pretty much straight red. We're still in the lead in this frame, and we've got a half chance to pot this red here and get ourselves up for the pink or blue. So we're just going to try and roll this into the pocket. Hopefully it'll go straight down the middle. It has indeed, and we're back onto building a break, and hopefully with 3 or 4 reds, we'll be able to win the frame in one visit. We've got a half chance on the blue and the pink. I'm going to go for the blue as it tends to be a little bit easier. We're closer to the object ball, which means we can control the angle better and hopefully come back for one of the reds in the bottom half of the table. So we're just going to try and screw back a little bit. We don't want to underdo it too much. As long as we pot the blue, that's the most important thing. Most of the reds are spread quite nicely, and we'll have 2 or 3 different opportunities. The blue's into the heart of the pocket. We've got this red down to the bottom corner, and we should be able to hold for the pink, so fingers crossed that'll be an easy opportunity too. We're going to try and screw back. We barely want the cue ball to move in truth, so 37% power. We're just going to screw back a couple of inches. We've undercooked it very slightly, but we've still got an angle on the pink. We can go for a straight blue again to the top corner. That'll allow us to come back for the red a bit easier, so we're going to do that in fact, just to make it as easy as possible. We want to keep the positional shots as comfortable as we can. We need the margin gap we can, just to make sure that if we make an error, we've still got that 5 or 10% power difference before we start to get completely out of position. We've come onto the red nicely from that blue, and hopefully we can screw forward, maybe even cannon the red to get on the black, but I think for now we're just going to play safe, and we'll aim to get on for the pink instead. So 39% power, make sure the red goes in first. We've underhit it slightly, but it's worked out on this occasion. Overhit it in fact I meant, but we're almost straight on the pink, and it should be another 6 points on the board. We've just got to try and get onto one of these reds at the bottom, which is going to be a little bit difficult with the angle we have, so we may have to leave a half difficult pot here as we hit the pink with just 17% power. We meant to go for a couple percent more, so it wasn't quite a dramatic drop in as it was, but we've got a nice angle on this red, and we should be able to pot it quite comfortably. And although we're going to collide with a black on the way back, it doesn't really matter too much as long as we continue to lead in the frame. It doesn't look like we are going to collide in fact, so we might be able to get up for the pink or blue. We've hit it with 45% power. We have nudged the black on the way through, and what a disaster. We've potted the cue ball. We've just given Mark Selby a lifeline when he really didn't need one at this stage. We were on the verge of winning the frame, and we've had another disastrous stroke of luck. The first frame in this match went down to the last black ball, and it ended up being about a 15-minute exchange before we ended up making a mistake. We're just going to go for the same here. Our usual trusted 40% power. We're hitting it very thin, so we don't want to hit it too hard, but it looks like we've made a hash of it again, and Mark Selby's going to have a decent long pot on the red. He's hampered a little by the green on the cue ball, but even then it's come past enough, so he should be able to pot this red and get himself back into the frame. Here he goes on the long red then. He's going to go for the bottom corner pocket. It looks like he's rolled it in comfortably, and unfortunately if Selby can pot a colour, he's going to be winning the frame very easily. He's going for the green. It doesn't matter which colour it is. As long as this drops in, he's won the frame, as I'm sure he'll be able to clear the colours, as bar the black, they're all on their spot. He's going for the yellow. We'll just check that it drops, and we might as well stick around for the frame, although surprisingly he's gone for a safety shot. He's managed to get in behind the black. It's a brilliant effort, and I don't know if we can actually get a contact on the yellow without coming off one of the cushions. Let's just try and find out. We can't quite. It's a brilliant shot, and we're going to be in a safety exchange now to win the third frame. Okay, we're going for the 2 cushion escape. It's a really crucial shot, this one. We're 24 ahead with 27 remaining, and if we end up missing this yellow, we basically put the frame back in Mark Selby's hands. So we're just going to try and hit it about 30%. The last thing we want to do is leave it over the pocket. 33% we've hit it at the end. Is it going to contact the yellow? Not even close in truth. It's an absolutely disastrous effort, and what's worse, we've left the yellow on pretty straight to the corner. Mark Selby's going to wrap up this frame, and I predict the semi-final as well. He'd do very well to put us back in here when he's got such a straight pot on. I'm pretty sure he'll take this one on, and then he'll be able to polish off the colours. Mark Selby is indeed going for the yellow. Let's just make sure it drops in. I've got into that nasty habit of fast forwarding again. He has managed to pot the yellow, and now with just 18 deficit, he's got 25 remaining, and I'm sure he'll be able to win this frame. Again, he's played safe off the green. It looked pretty straight to the middle, so we've got another lifeline, but his safety exchange really doesn't suit us. Mark Selby can compete with the very best. So we're just going to try and be very delicate with this one. Try and leave it resting on the top cushion. We don't want to take any risks, although I think we've underhit this slightly, and we might have gifted Selby another 4 points. We have made contact with the green, I think, but we've left it in a pretty perilous position, so he's going to be able to play safe and really control this safety shot and probably leave us in a world of trouble. Well, a bit of a surprising one. It's a poor safety shot from Mark Selby, and we're going to have another go at playing our own style of one. So we're just going to try and keep the cue ball above the bulk line. We are going to play it at about 40% power. If we go side to side, it doesn't matter. We just want to try and get the green down the table. So 34%. It's ended up being an absolute disaster. And as I'm sure you can see from these last few episodes, the one thing we really need to work on is our safety play. I think that surely is going to be a 3-0 lead for Selby. If he pots the green, the rest of the colours are on their spot, and he'll do very well to ruin his chances from there. The green drops in, we'll just see it out. Hopefully he will slip up at some point, but I'm pretty sure it won't be the case. The brown's going to go into the corner pocket, and for some reason he hasn't brought the cue ball back, so he might have to play safe off the blue as well, unless he's going to go for a spectacular shot to the corner. It's one of the few unrealistic things I think happens too often in this game. They leave themselves near the top cushion for the blue, and end up playing a dramatic shot to either corner, just as that one was there. He's got a straight pink to the middle, then he should be able to screw back for the black nicely. So I think unfortunately we're going to lose 3-0, despite putting up a spirited effort in the final frame. It really was an opportunity for us to win this one, as he's left himself a difficult angle on the black again. We could be getting into a safety exchange, just as we did in the first frame. It's 55 all with just the black to go, and Mark Selby has played safe and started another safety exchange. He might have potted the cue ball though. He has indeed. We lead by 7 with 7 remaining, so the worst we're going to get is a respotted black. What a turn of events this is. We were talking about this event as if we were out, and Mark Selby has given us an absolute lifeline. We're going to force him to continue, as the object ball's pretty safe in the middle of the table. Hopefully he won't be able to pot it from there, but this is a very unlikely turn of events, and something we didn't expect to see a moment ago. Mark Selby's played off the bottom cushion. He's just keeping it nice and safe. Even if he pots this black, we know that we're going to have another opportunity with a respotted black, but last time we had one of them, it was a very difficult 20 minutes. Not in this game, but in a previous tournament, so I'd really like to not repeat it if possible. We're going to do our trusty 40%, as if we were taking a break off. 39's the closest we can get, and we've managed to hit the black ball pretty thin. I think we might have left it over the corner though. This is an absolute disaster. We're all over the place in this frame. The pressure of our first semi-finals getting to us, and Mark Selby's going to have a simple pot to the corner to lead us back to a respotted black. Let's just check that it goes in. I'm pretty sure it will do, and I hope you'll join us again in a minute as we play for the respotted black. Well, that loaded a lot quicker than we expected. We're just going to try and play extremely thin on this one. We don't want to make the same mistake as a moment ago and leave the black over the corner pocket. So again, about 40%, probably slightly lighter as we're going for a really thin contact. We've managed to connect with the black, that's the most important. Where's the cue ball going though? It just survives and stays out of the pocket. John Virgo would have been getting excited at that one, but as it stands, we haven't left the pot on. Selby might go for the thin cut, and I may be proven wrong. He did, but he he didn't really commit to it, so he knew the black was going to come back to the middle of the table. We might have to go for the pot, as every time we go for a safety exchange we lose, so even though we know this pot's very difficult, we know we probably have to take it on, as it's our best chance of getting a victory in this frame. 27% power, we're going to go for it to the bottom right corner. It's dropped in, we get a frame back, it's a 2-1 deficit now, and Mark Selby's going to have to go all again if he wants to try and win this match. 2-1 and a spirited effort there. We should have done it in a much easier fashion, but as it is, it's 2-1 and we've left ourselves fighting for a place in the final. I'm afraid we are going to have to leave it there, as I'm aware it's been a pretty long frame. I don't want the episode to run on for an hour or so. We will carry on our match with Mark Selby off camera. If it goes to a decider, I will record that frame as well, and I'll put it out as a bonus episode on Sunday lunchtime. But I'm really glad we've been able to put up a spirited performance. So fingers crossed we'll be back on Sunday with a deciding frame from this semi-final. But if not, we will be back next Friday as planned, with some action from one of our next few events, as we look to finish off the season in style and continue our rise up the rankings. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video as always. I hope you enjoyed the fight back we had against Mark Selby, especially some of those brilliant safety exchanges and the fantastic pot on the last respotted black. Let me know down in the comments if you've seen any of the weird positional shots on the colours. As I've mentioned, quite often when the top players are playing the colours at the end, they're staying on the top cushion for the blue and trying to play this weird cut to the two bottom pockets. It's one of my only faults of the game in terms of realism, as otherwise it's been a brilliant immersive experience, and multiple weeks after release I'm still enjoying playing it loads. Subscribe to the channel for regular content from this Snooker 19 career every Friday at 4:30. As I mentioned, keep your eyes on the channel on Sunday for a bonus episode at 12 o'clock. I won't promise it just yet, but if we get to a deciding frame against Mark Selby, I wouldn't make you wait a week to find out. There's also daily content from my 2 long-term FM19 stories, as my channel name gives away, and then there's also regular content from my Cricket 19 career, which I'm really getting into now, so I hope you'll come and join along with me for that one, especially if you are a fan of other sports or sports games. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with this series. I really do appreciate it, and we may see you in a couple of days' time for a deciding frame against Mark Selby. Fingers crossed we'll still be in the running for a place in the final.